What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with that holiday analysis. Happy 4th of July to all you guys that watch and subscribe and love this type of content that I consistently bring each and every day throughout the year, throughout the months, throughout the weeks, throughout the hours, throughout the second. And I'm going to give you all that Kawhi. This is another question that I'm always asked. The Clippers was called pretenders. The Clippers was thought as a team that wasn't a championship contender, even though they made a lot of moves, adding Serge, adding Reggie, the Morris trade, and picking up the signing of Morris and extension, and then bringing in Paul George, bringing in Kawhi Leonard, and people bought into them, and then getting Serge and these guys to come in and changing the roster a lot throughout the season and throughout their second year compared to where get rid of Doc Rivers and Ty Lue did his thing. And the question to me is a little crazy because you look at the fact that Ty Lue did prove that he was a good coach. He made the adjustments. They was down 2-0. They was able to win those series. The Jazz was favored to win that series, and they was able to win without Kawhi Leonard and finish it off. Not only that, gave Phoenix a run for their money. They won in six, but it took a iconic performance from Chris Paul to send them home. And even then, it was a six-game series without Kawhi Leonard, without Serge Ibaka and these guys being healthy. And that's just something that you didn't think would happen, and that's something that was reality when the playoffs started and as it continued. And when you look at this team, they have some decisions to make. Obviously, as a championship contender, you get rid of all your future for veterans, so guys that understand the game, knows how to play, and can contribute right away. And that's what the Clippers basically did. The problem with the Clippers is they can't get significantly better, but how many other contenders can do that? That's the question. Like, who can really get better at this point? Because all these teams have really cashed in on a championship and maximized all opportunities that they basically could do to win a title, and the Clippers fall in the same category. I do think the Clippers did prove that they are a legitimate team in the West this year because of the run that they made and the fact that they were so short-handed and really just threw this roster together. And they do have a great coach that's willing to experiment, that's willing to give guys a chance, but also willing to be hard on guys and demand greatness from them. That's a hard situation to leave. And Paul George, people look at him different. Last year, they made fun of him and trashed him a lot, and even Kawhi Leonard got some of the talk. And you look at the Dallas series, people were looking at Luka shredding them, and um, do they regret dodging the Lakers because they couldn't even beat the Mavericks and they finished them in seven? And Kawhi Leonard has some of the best performances of his career in that series and was able to do it again in the second round. So to me, it is interesting because we don't really know Kawhi Leonard health situation. We know he has an injury. We don't know how severe it is. We don't know if it can turn into something worse. We don't know how much time he'll miss even going into next season. And we don't really know really much about it. And that does matter because he's looking for a payday. And on top of that, he did still prove that he's one of the top 10 players in the world and still an elite defender. Remember, Kawhi Leonard was an all-star. He was all NBA first team. Not only that, Kawhi Leonard was amazing in the playoffs for the most part. And that's going to cost you a lot of money, regardless if he on a sprained ACL or not. So he already showed that he wanted to be in LA. He already showed that he has a voice in his organization. They respect him. They're giving him his cake and eat it too. And he did not deliver yet because they made it to the conference finals, but that was basically without him at one point. And even though they look a lot better than what a lot of people thought that they was basically after the playoffs ended, it is going to be interesting to see who goes and who stays with this team because I do think Reggie Jackson was huge for their run. I think Nicholas Batum, their ability to go small, gave teams nightmares. Having multiple ball handlers, multiple shooters, and multiple guys that can, do things off the dribble. And even though they got locked into some of these contracts because they gave them that switchability, that versatility, and the ability to go small, these guys get older. We know when you get older, your body starts to betray you, and we start seeing that a lot this season when they went a little veteran, a little bit too much veteran, I should say. They didn't have a lot of young energy, but Terrence Mann really stepped up and was a huge contributor, was a big reason why they was able to get as far as they did because he played well, and he's one of the lone young players on this team that actually get quality minutes. So to me, they're going to have to lose a lot of players. They're going to have to ask for some of these guys to step up. A lot of people felt like, trading Lou Will for Rondo, we expected playoff Rondo to make a difference. And he had some good games, but he didn't have that Rondo playoff run that they was hoping and everybody thought that he could do for this team. He never really became a legitimate starter. He never really made a legitimate impact, even in the regular season. And that trade really didn't pay off the way people thought that it would coming into this season. But to basically answer the question, I think that they should definitely try to give Kawhi Leonard his money. And I think Kawhi Leonard, he's right by home. He's right by friends and family. He's playing with the Clippers. This is his franchise. This is his team. He is the guy. And they have shown that they're willing to put the talent that he needs to succeed. And that's what every franchise player gets. And if you don't want to be a franchise player, you have to go to another team and be the second player. He asked Paul George to come play with him because this is going to be his team. This is going to be his franchise, and it is. We seen that once Kawhi Leonard went down, we knew that the chances of them winning a championship was basically over. But if Kawhi Leonard stayed healthy and they played the way they was playing, and Kawhi Leonard played the way he was playing, maybe they beat Phoenix. Maybe they win a championship now that Giannis is beat up and toe up. And he can be looking at a third championship too as a superstar. And that puts him in elite company, especially the LeBron company, because he won with three different teams, will be the Spurs, the Clippers, and obviously the Raptors. And that looks a lot different on his resume, and that makes him look a lot different knowing that he led two different teams to a championship as a superstar. And that puts him even closer to that top 20 players of all time and gives him a legitimate chance since he just turned 30 to get in that top 10 by the time his career is over. We have to see how it goes. But the problem with Kawhi Leonard that people have is he's high maintenance. He misses a lot of games. He's very demanding, and he has health problems. He has had health problems a lot. Even when he had that Raptors run, people was looking at that leg and it was like, he doesn't look right. He started playing a little worse. Even though they did get the job done at the end of the day, we knew that Kawhi Leonard really wasn't the same as the playoff series kept going on. And then the year before that, he missed the entire season basically in playoff run. And we didn't really know what he would be because he was playing in and out. And we really didn't know if he was able to get back to the point that he is right now with the Clippers, where he was able to play more games, was able to have more of an impact on both ends of the court, but we didn't really see it for a long, extended run because he was either out for a minor injury or he was out for the rest of the playoffs. So Kawhi Leonard is a gamble because you don't know how many games he's going to play. You don't really know if he's going to be available, but you do know if he is available and he is healthy, you got one of the most unstoppable players on and one of the most clutch players, and you have a guy that's good enough to win you a ship. And a lot of teams will die for that. A lot of teams will die to have that opportunity, and the Clippers basically proved it because they made the decision to bring them in and mortgage majority of their future to build the type of roster they have around them now. And Paul George was a big part of that. I say if you make this trade for Paul George, is really to get the commitment of Kawhi Leonard. They made the trade and got both of them to sign, and now they're in the conference finals in their second year. And if they can stay healthy, they have a good chance of being there again or further, depending on who they bring in and who stays. So if I'm Kawhi Leonard, you have a legitimate chance to win a title with the Clippers. We don't know how long their window is going to be open. We don't know how long it's going to stay open, and we don't really know if they're going to win one. But they made progress from last season to this year. They did something they couldn't do this year that we thought that they would do last year. But they still haven't won that ship. And that's what you was bringing Kawhi Leonard in to do. He didn't deliver on that. He didn't get that done just yet. And that will be something that's crazy. You wanted to come here. You wanted to play here. You was excited to change the culture, change the brand. They getting a new arena. They building around you. They giving you what you want, but you didn't give them the shit. So he has a little bit more work to do. He has a little bit more, to accomplish in LA, and that should be a challenge. That should be a goal to win a ship. They never did what they have done until now, and a lot of it has to do with the greatness of Kawhi Leonard and the team and the coaching staff and organization that's around them now. Take full advantage of it and give it your all. This team showed that they're competitive. They showed that they don't quit. They don't give up. They can make plays and make shots with or without them. But with them, they're a dangerous team. And that puts them in the conversation of a championship each and every year, especially if he's healthy. The question is he going to take a little bit less? Is he going to try to take the full max? Will he give them the 4 years? Or will he leave? Whatever he does, that's his decision. I'm going to respect him either way. But he did not do what he was supposed to do in LA just yet. He has more time because he's not dead and he's still playing and he's still in the prime of his career. But there's a little bit more work to do. So that gives him a reason to stay in LA besides the other reasons why he came before. Now it's just about, was he riding with it? Was he dying with it? Was he really about it? Or was he just coming here to, see was it green or is it hay? So far it's been a little bit of hay and got little patches of green. Now we just have to see can he turn it to a full green, beautiful vision like he said that he would come into LA. It's not over yet, but it might be. If I was him, stay with the Clippers, ride it out, and bring him a ship. Easier said than done. We done seen them fail the last 2 years, but they still can get it done if he decides to stay and they continue to put the talent that's around him that gives him the best chance to win, which I felt like they did. And going to the Western Conference Finals without him and winning 2 games and having been competitive games within that series not being healthy proves that they should have enough to get it done. Kawhi Leonard just has to deliver on his part, which he hasn't done yet, but he still can do it. We'll just see if he will. Other than that, see y'all Monday. Hopefully, Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, signing out. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy the friends and the family. And on top of that, see y'all Monday.